We're on to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and I have 3 early line shopping positive expected value picks for the main lines for you guys to lock in for these 4 games this NFL weekend. How many times can I say 4 in a sentence? Last week, I did the same exact video for the wild card games, and I went 2-1 on my 3 picks. I got the Browns game wrong. I had their money line, not even close, but I did have the Chiefs money line as well, and they came through, and I had the Bucks +3. Should have just taken the money line, but we end the day with some profit thanks to going 2-1 on the day. That makes it a 5-1 run that we are on with these early line shopping picks. I went 3-0 in week 18 and 2-1 last week. As for this week, I have 3 more picks for you guys to lock in. If you're not already, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. And let's get right into it. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is in the Texans versus Ravens game. And I'm taking the Ravens -8.5, -115 odds at FanDuel. For the second straight week, I am fading CJ Stroud. I admittedly don't feel great about that part because CJ Stroud is awesome, but the Ravens are the play here. First of all, and this is the most important point here, this is why I make this video in general, I try to look for value across these sports books as opposed to my own handicapping. This is a really, really good price that we are getting on FanDuel. Now, I found all of this information odds via OddsJam, so check that out for a free line shopping tool. I know we're paying for a little bit of juice at the -115 odds, but no other book is giving this to you at -8.5. Every other book either prices this at -9 or -9.5, and that includes every sharp sports book that you want to look for to set the market. Bookmaker and Circa have this at -9. Pinnacle and BetOnline have this at -9.5. I don't think that the spread will ever get to -10, but I do think that the -8.5 number that I locked in, I do think that is going to end up being beating the closing line. I do think it's going to end up being a positive EV play as the week goes on, and it currently is one as well. Now, in terms of the matchup, the Browns defense, I talked about how good they were last week. People commented that they're not as good on the road. Those people were proven to be correct as the Browns got shredded. I don't think that's going to happen 2 weeks in a row against another good defense in the Ravens, who A, are going to be at home, so no road issues, and B, the Ravens are a better defense than the Browns, even if you take away the home-road splits. The Ravens have the #1 defense in the NFL according to DVOA. They have the best passing defense in the NFL according to DVOA and the 7th best rushing defense. Yes, CJ Stroud is amazing, but I think that the Ravens are going to be able to pressure him more than the Browns could, and the Ravens are much better on the back end than the Browns are. And also, as good as CJ Stroud has been, with his receiving weapons as banged up as they are, I think that I just have a hard time believing he's going to be able to torch the Ravens defense like he did against the Browns. We've seen the Ravens defense shut down the best offenses in the NFL. They shut down the 49ers in San Francisco. They shut down the Dolphins, who admittedly got shut down by every good defense. But the Lions, all good defenses pretty much all year, the Ravens did a really good job against. And I think that they're going to be able to do the same against the Texans. On the other side of the ball, the Browns were moving the ball with relative ease until Joe Flacco threw back-to-back pick sixes. I don't think that the Texans defense is going to be able to benefit from that same type of luck in this one. The Ravens offense is just better than the Browns offense. They're more well-balanced as the Browns, with all their injuries, didn't really have any semblance of a running game. And I trust Lamar Jackson more than I trust Joe Flacco, who was slinging it. He was also turning it over a lot as well. So as fun as the ride has been, I think the Texans' luck runs out on this game's on Saturday. So that's my first play, Ravens -8.5. Next up, Packers versus 49ers game. I'm actually just taking the over 49.5, -110 odds at DraftKings. I didn't find really any value on the spread. If I had to pick a side, I would lean towards the 49ers covering the spread, but that is by no means an official play. That's just if I had to give a prediction, that's what I would give out. I do really like the over, though, as one of our mainline plays. Another good price from a line shopping positive expected value perspective. Circa actually prices this a full point higher at 50.5. BetOnline has this at 50. Pinnacle also has this total at 50, but not only that, they favor the over. Pinnacle has the over priced at -110 and the under at -105, and we're getting it below all of these sports books. Now, admittedly, I feel a little bit square and a little too reactionary taking an over for a Packers game after what we just witnessed last week. They blew up against the Cowboys, a good defense. They put up 46 points. Obviously they're not going to put up 46 points again. Of course, I could still see them having success against the 49ers. The real reason why I like this play, aside from the positive EV perspective, is I expect the 49ers to put up 35, 40, possibly even 45 points in this one, making it so the Packers wouldn't need to have a massive blow-up game to cash this over. I don't necessarily think that's too much of a hot take, saying the 49ers are going to score a lot of points. They have the highest over-under, team total over-under of the week. And now we get Shanahan with the bye week to scheme up some diabolical plays against what is generally a bad defense. Now, the Packers defense, despite giving up a ton of yards, generally, and they're good against the Cowboys last week. That's the point I was trying to make. Even though they gave up a bunch of yards, they were good against the Cowboys last week. But to me, that says more about the Cowboys being a choke artist team more so than the Packers defense actually being good. According to DVOA on the entire year, the Packers have the 27th ranked defense in the NFL, 26th in terms of passing defense, and 26th rushing defense as well. I just have a hard time seeing the defense for the Packers playing as well as they did against the Cowboys, even if you admit the fact that their offense isn't going to play as well either. So more than anything, I'm confident that this game is going to have a bunch of points. So let's ride with the over. That's our second play. Next up, third and final pick for this video, taking the Bills -2, -120 odds at ESPN Bet. Now, heading into this game, when I was doing my research, I didn't really know where I wanted to go. I could be convinced of either outcome. Chiefs win and cover, Bills win and cover. Any outcome would not surprise me. I haven't been a believer in the Chiefs team all year, whereas the Bills are so inconsistent, you just never know what you're going to get from them. What ended up making me settle on the Bills -2 is the fact that it is a positive expected value play. As I mentioned, that's the most important thing. Yes, -120 is somewhat steep, but every other book has this at either -2.5 or -3. Now, the 3 number is obviously a massive key number to get below, and all the books that do price it at -2.5, they heavily favor the Bills at that number as well. That includes every single sharp sportsbook. So good from an EV perspective. In terms of the matchup, again, I really struggled debating which way I personally wanted to lean. It is somehow the first time that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are playing in Buffalo. Somehow every other game that they've played has been in Kansas City, including the 2 playoff games. Now, obviously, the Chiefs have won both of those playoff games. One wasn't really that close. The second one was that ridiculous overtime game where they scored like 5 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. But again, I'm riding with the Bills. Even though Kansas City did dominate the Dolphins last week, I wasn't necessarily overly impressed with their performance, their offense. Yeah, they were able to move the ball, but they got shut down in the red zone more often than not. And yes, their defense was great. We've seen the Dolphins offense struggle against other good defenses. Even the Eagles shut down the Dolphins offense. The good defenses do that against the Dolphins. And yeah, Rashee Rice had a great game. They have nobody else at receiver to throw to. And we've seen that Travis Kelce isn't able to do enough that he's done the rest of his career. MVS, I'm just not a huge fan of, that's not a hot take either, of any of the other Chiefs receivers. I think they left a lot of plays out on the field. It didn't come back to bite them against the Dolphins. It could against the Bills. But Josh Allen could also turn the ball over 5 times, and they end up getting boat raced like they did against the Bengals last year. I'm not going to pretend that that's out of the realm of possibilities. The Bills are highly inconsistent, as is Josh Allen, but they're getting presumably a little bit healthier with Rasul Douglas and Gabe Davis expected to return this week. Granted, they do have some injuries at linebacker that they're going to need to sort through, but regardless, I admit I don't feel great about it, but I am going to ride with the Bills in this one, taking down the Chiefs, advancing to the AFC Championship. And then for the last game, not an official play by any means. I like the Lions -6. I'm not going to track whether that hits or not. There's really no value there. Every book, at least at the time of this recording, has it at Lions -6. That's what I am predicting. I'm not making that an official play, but just to get a prediction out there. What I am tracking officially are the 3 plays that I mentioned: the Ravens -8.5, the over 49.5 in the Packers 49ers, and then the Bills -2. And that's all we got. 3 plays for you guys to lock in. If you're not already, again, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Other than that, would appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, all that good stuff. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.